Hello, I'm the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, and I am a Seahawk fan.
I'm painfully awkward, Moses, and I'm a 49er fan.
With the Seahawks, I get a head coach who has taken the Seahawks to the playoffs 4 of the 5 years he's been in charge.
I don't even know who's in charge of the 49ers right now. Who could it be? I don't even know.
With the Seahawks, I get a team motto like leave no doubt and what's next.
With the 49ers, I get a team motto like who's got it better than us? Actually, a lot of people do this season.
With the Seahawks, I get Russell Wilson, a remarkable quarterback who has the knack to make the right throw at the right time.
With the 49ers, I get Colin Kaepernick, and I don't know where he's going to throw it.
With the Seahawks, I get the 12th man and CenturyLink Field.
With the 49ers, I get a new stadium that already has field issues and a fan base that leaves at halftime.
With the Seahawks, I get a Lombardi Trophy from just last year, and a very good chance to have another one this year.
With the 49ers, I get 5 Lombardi trophies, but they haven't actually had one in over 20 years.
Don't be painfully awkward. Be a Seahawk fan.
And now it's time for another edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. With your hosts, the Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice. This is the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, and welcome one and all to a very special playoff bye-week edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. The show made up of Seahawk fans from around the world talking about your Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Over the next few moments we share together, we hope that you are entertained and enlightened as we discuss last week's season-ending victory for your Super Bowl defending champion and NFC Western Division champion, Seattle Seahawks, against the St. Louis Rams. So sit back, relax, grab a desired beverage or sin of your choice, and remember, don't be painfully awkward, be a Seahawk fan. As is the usual with every show, we are not alone. No, I'm joined like I am every episode by the 12-Man Fan Jam Posse, a ragtag group of diehard Seahawk fans from around the world. First, my partner in crime, the yin to my yang, from merry old England. You know him as Suffolk Blue, and we know him as Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hello, good morning, Moses. How are you?
Wonderful, Matt. How are you today?
Well, I bring good news and bad.
Oh, what is the good news?
The good news is that we are NFC West champions, first round bye, all that good stuff.
What is the bad news?
There is no Seattle Seahawks football this weekend.
Oh, well, I'm not gonna. That's sad. That is bad.
Bad.
But that's okay because you have this show to waste an hour of your time between now and next weekend. So
Happy New Year to all the listeners as well.
yes, happy 2015 to you as well. Next, from the state of Washington, our very own news hound. His 12th man editorials can be found on the SeahawksSal.com website. He resolves to give the best NFL headlines each and every episode. You know him as Shadowhawk. We know him as the Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, folks. I'm Will Harrison, and I have DirecTV. And I'm Scrawny Arms Will Harrison, and I have cable. Actually, I've got Fios, but that really didn't work.
You know, no, that works because actually the opening of the show this evening was that very thing where we had Moses, the Seahawk fan, and painfully awkward Moses, who was the 49er fan. So that fit right in. So, well done. Well, way to go with the theme there, Will. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Next, from the state of Washington, our tailgater extraordinaire. He resolves to grow just a little more. He's Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey guys, I caught what you did there, Dennis. You just about called them the St. Loser Rams. You caught that little slip there at the beginning.
Did.
You should have ran with it.
I should have ran with the St. Loser Rams, but they did split with us this year, so I can't quite call them that.
Are they in the playoffs?
No, they're not, and we did slow clap them out of the stadium. So
there you go.
Well done. Also from the state of California, just up the road from 49er headquarters, our own man behind enemy lines. He resolves to gloat as much as possible in the face of Niner Nation over the next few months. You know him as Zorn76. We know him as Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. And I just saw that the 49ers are changing their pregame introductory song to Strut by Sheena Easton.
That would be Strut Pout, Put It Out, for those of you who are wondering.
Put it out.
Oh, it's what you want from women. Oh God, that takes me back. Strut by Sheena Easton. Awesome.
Or from Ray McDonald. Sorry.
Yeah.
The thing is, now you know Moses is going to be going through like the YouTube to try and find that, so that's going to be somewhere in this episode. All of a sudden, when you least expect it.
What?
Hear that tapping? Hear that tapping?
What?
See, I would have thought San Francisco should have gone for "Loser" by Beck.
What are you saying?
There it is. There it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
Got the feathered hair and everything, man. This is so 80s. You can't stand it. There's Strut by Sheena Easton, the new theme song of the 49ers. Thank you, Sheena. All right, more of that later. Everyone had a great New Year's, I take it. Everybody's safe.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Good. Let's go ahead and let's get to the show. We got a lot to talk about. It's bye week, but we have a lot to do. For those who have listened before, thank you for joining us once again. And for those of you who are listening for the first time, don't worry. We promise we'll be gentle, but be careful. We're still dropping balls as we speak. So the show is run like this. That's a New Year's Eve thing. Okay. First quarter is.
Sure it is.
On both sides of the Atlantic.
Woo! First quarter is news. Will catch us up on all the news we may have missed because we were too busy celebrating the new year. Quarter two, we will review the Rams game, the Seahawk victory over the Rams. And at 2-minute warning, we will go over the predictions. I also have a very special surprise prediction that has come true. And I'll talk more about. I'm going to leave that cloud of mystery over that because the crew has no idea what I'm talking about. The posse doesn't know what I'm saying here, but we have a very special prediction I'm going to share after we do the Rams game. So halftime, we are going to have the nominees for the second annual 12th Man Fan Jam Award nominations, or the Fan Jammies as we like to call them. The kids dig the award shows. Kids? Kids are here. Kids dig the award show. We have nominees for, at the end of the year, we do nominees for the Seahawks. We do Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Touchdown of the Year, and Game of the Year. And we ask you to vote on those very, very nominations, as we will vote ourselves. So very exciting time around here. We'll go through those nominations at halftime. Third quarter, we'll talk about the NFC playoff games this weekend, who we want, who we don't want to play next, what's ahead for the Seahawks after this weekend. And in quarter four, we will go ahead and predict the two NFC wildcard games just because, we do predictions of fourth quarter. So why not continue with that tradition? We want to remind you also that we'd like you to like, share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Contact us on this thread or on the comment section of this video for feedback. Or you can email us at 12thmanfanjam@gmail.com. Tell us what you think, good or bad. We don't mind. Say, hey, guys, I enjoy the show. Hey, I think it's stupid. Hey, it wasn't that good. Whatever. We'd love to hear from you. So, without any further ado, let's kick it right off with the first quarter in news. Yes, news around the NFL by Shadowhawk Will, because we were all too busy coming down from our New Year's Eve hangovers. Will, what do you got for us this evening?
Well, Moses, I hate to have to do this, but credit has to be given where credit is due. And I feel it necessary to point out where a little bit of credit is due here for one of our wildcard teams. The Dallas Cowboys, obviously, as you all know, finished 12-4 this year and won the NFC East after 3 straight 8-8 finishes, where they were eliminated at the in the final game of the season. Well, they did something last summer that had a lot of people scoffing at them, but it turned out to be a fairly good move, all things considered. When they sent out season tickets last summer, they also included playoff tickets.
I forgot about that.
Oh, God, yeah.
And sure enough, those tickets are actually good, at least for this Sunday's game. And since they sent out the tickets, they pretty much have sold out already. As of the 31st, they had fewer than 400 tickets remaining. So Got to give the Cowboys credit, and I bring this up just because I wish we had actual playoff tickets for the Seahawks playoff games instead of the printed home ones, but oh well.
We had so much fun with that story. I can remember at training camp. I believe our training camp episode, if you look up on Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, I think the training camp episode is when that came out, and we had quite a lot of fun about that. Very sad.
Never let it be said that the 12th Man Fan Jam is afraid to admit when we were wrong.
I need... Wait a minute. Before your next story, I need some cheering up. Hold on. Oh, thank you, Sheena. I feel better already. Sing it, honey. Okay, I feel better. Thanks. Will, what else you got for us?
Well, my second item also involves the Cowboys, and more importantly, one of the people they're going to play next Sunday, a.k.a. Golden Tate. If you recall,
become a mainstay, has he not?
What's that? I'm sorry?
He's become a mainstay, has he not, on our news section?
Well, with good reason.
Yeah.
As most of our listeners probably remember, the last time Golden Tate squared off against the Cowboys, he had a rather vicious hit on Cowboys linebacker Sean Lee that didn't result in a flag, but got him fined $21,000.
And resulted in a rule change.
Yes.
Yes, it did. Well, the Dallas Cowboys are not ones to live and let live, apparently. Sean Lee is not playing. He's on injured reserve, but Cowboy safety Barry Church basically warned Tate earlier this week that Sunday's game was going to be payback time.
Oh, God.
Tate, on the other hand, seems to be taking it in stride. When asked by ESPN, Tate said, quote, "Man, I don't know this guy. I just now heard of him yesterday from this incident. He's trying to get on the scene, I guess. We'll see." So there's definitely some bad blood between the Cowboys and the Detroit Lions receiver. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one shakes out.
Did he not go a little bit further than that as well? Didn't he say something along the lines of, "You can't hit what you can't catch"? He's just going to run past him anyway.
Yes, he did. He said, quote, "This game is a physical game. It's not the first time that people have, I guess, called me out. An old great football player told me once that you can't hit what you can't catch, so we'll see." Gauntlet thrown.
Yes. Well, this will be a fun game.
To be honest with you, I'm pulling for them in this game because I want to see him get hit by Cam the following week.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now I'm torn because I want the Lions to come here so Cam Chancellor can deplete Golden Tate, but on the other hand, I want the Cowboys to come here in the championship game if we get that far, so we could deplete all of them.
Oh, see, that would be beautiful.
I wish we could have both.
That would be glorious. Mark, are you worried about the Lions or the Cowboys coming to our place?
Not in the least. I jumped the gun, but I still feel confident. We're going back to the Super Bowl. I'm just going to say it right now.
There it is. Okay, not to play them. Call Goodell. Good night, everybody. Great show.
Oh, Goodell.
We are going back to the Super Bowl. I think we all feel that way. No doubt about that. It doesn't matter who we play. I agree with you. Will, what's your last story for this evening?
Well, Moses, as most people listening probably know, 3 Seahawks were voted first team All-Pro this year.
Yes.
That would be Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, and Bobby Wagner, who earned that honor despite missing 5 games. 2 other Seahawks were named second team All-Pro, Cam Chancellor and Marshawn Lynch. But there were a couple of interesting votes cast in this year's All-Pro vote. Michael David Smith on ProFootballTalk.com took a minute to catalog some of them. Seems, for example, Boomer Esiason, who now works for CBS, I believe, put in a vote for Marshawn Lynch, but voted for him as a fullback. Don't know why he did that. Troy Aikman had a bit of an odd vote of his own. He did not vote for a single punter on his All-Pro team. Smith said, quote, "We've been told that Aikman preferred not to vote for a punter."
I won't vote for any punters, man.
But yet, perhaps the strangest vote of all came from Hall of Fame receiver James Lofton, who cast an All-Pro vote for Seattle guard James Carpenter.
What?
Yes, James Carpenter got an All-Pro vote this year.
You have got to be kidding me.
I am not kidding.
He's not kidding. I had heard this before myself, and sad but true. It is extremely true.
Was
James
he thinking
Carpenter.
of the author? Because the author's good, right? I don't know about the guard.
I don't know how James Carpenter, the author, plays guard.
I don't know.
But you might be onto something.
Maybe Carpenter was standing over Lofton with a baseball bat when he was casting votes. I mean, I honestly, I went into this year hoping that James Carpenter would get an All-Pro vote or two, but yeah, no.
Yeah, hopefully he would have earned it.
We actually have audio of James Carpenter finding out he actually got a vote.
Oh dear.
This is James Carpenter finding out he actually got a vote for the All-Pro team. That's pretty much it right there.
And then he listened to Sheena Easton to celebrate.
He should. We should.
No.
Congratulations, Carpenter. There's some Sheena for you, baby. She was hot back in the day, like 30 years ago.
True. Weren't we all?
Now she's just a wretched old woman.
Those who were born at the time.
Yeah. I chose that song because that's the last time the Niners were really any good.
No!
Yikes.
Beautiful. Just strut pout, put it out.
Did you what? Just as an extra, so you mentioned punters, I just got in my head. Did you see the tweet from John Ryan about the kid from Alabama
that
can
was
seriously
awesome.
punt?
That was really good.
Do you have that by chance?
I do.
That
I
was
do.
very good.
John Ryan tweet a day ago. This kid from Alabama can seriously punt. Dear John Schneider, please don't draft him. I heard he hates animals and old people. What a fabulous tweet!
Oh, that guy's the best.
John Ryan seems like one of those guys who'd be fun to go have a beer with.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, him
Absolutely.
and we're talking about good Seahawk Twitter followers. If you follow Gresham, the long snapper,
Oh gosh.
it's like
Yeah.
the funniest guy on the planet. I mean, he just thinks it's hysterical that people follow the long snapper, I think. But he has some of the best tweets ever, too.
Troy Aikman really should have voted John Ryan All-Pro. He should have voted for a punter.
He should have.
I think he just likes Madden that much. He's like, screw that, I'm not punting. I'm going for it on fourth down. That's my only guess.
Oh, my God. Whew. Well, thank you, Will. Those are some great news to get the show started off right. Great newses? Great headlines.
newses.
Great newses.
Thank you.
I'm mesmerized by Sheena Easton. I'm sorry. We're going to take a break here. Very sad. Because we're in the first quarter. Because Monday we lost a few coaches in the NFL. And so, on behalf of Sheena Easton and the posse, we'd like to send our condolences and finish the first quarter with those who we've lost on Monday.
And now it's time for the second quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to take you through the second quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you again, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam. This is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity, and welcome to the second quarter, where we are going to talk about last week's victory for the Seahawks over the St. Louis Rams in a game they had to have, get home field advantage, they had to have to win the division. Actually, they didn't have to after the Cardinals lost, but we didn't know that at the time. And so we're going to talk about this game a little bit, and then we're going to go through our predictions, and I have a special surprise for the posse. They have no idea. We're going to start this round. Yeah, get ready for this. All right. Justin, your thoughts on the Rams game. Give us some things that you saw that you liked and some things that you think you need to work. Give us something that you liked and something you think they need to work on, Seahawks.
I appreciate you asking my opinion. Thank you.
You're
Thanks
welcome,
for asking.
Justin.
No,
it's-
show people.
No, it was kind of what I expected. I figured the first half would be a struggle defensively, and honestly it was. And then the second half, they'd kind of figure it out, kick it into gear, and even there's not one point in that game where I thought the Seahawks were going to lose. It was just a lot more fun when the play started happening. The 3 turnovers, I think it was in the third quarter, or maybe it was just the second half, and the sacks, and Bruce Irvin having the pick 6. I mean, it was one of those parties that started off slow and then got real fun, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's typical, isn't it, with this team? I always call it a slow, methodic beatdown, and that's kind of what it became. Mark, what about you? What are your thoughts on the game from last week?
Well, as you know, Moses, via my in-game text to you,
I wish we could get a sample of these because I'm feeling these are probably as good as John Ryan's tweets.
my disclaimer, fellas, is I reserve the right to behave like a 2-year-old during game day.
It'd be like those
not the
quarterback
only one.
conversations
They're
on
not that
Facebook.
bad. They're not that bad.
Well, luckily, the our ordained MC has such patience that I just, it's my usual. You know what it is that it just kept sinking in. If we win this game, we have home field, and it was almost like a little kid that can't wait for Christmas, and then the mind starts spinning, and I just want this so badly. And then at halftime, it's like 66 total yards for the Rams offense, and we're down 6-0. But again, like Dustin, I knew, ultimately we were going to win this game. But it was just, it was so close. I was just like, oh God, when is it going to happen? And sure enough, it did. And then it was another "I told you so" moment for Moses to me. So it all worked out well.
We're gonna bring up another question here before we get through this section, but and I'll hold this, Mark. But there is something that got under your crawl that I'm going to present to the posse later in our texting. But right now we'll go with Matt. What were your views about the game?
It's just being a Seahawks fan now. It can be it's a joyful thing. It's great. It's exciting. It can be equally as frustrating. The first half, I think I'm a little bit like Mark. I think I'm sort of sitting here thinking, why are we playing why are you doing that? Why is that play happening? Why all of a sudden can we not run the ball effectively? Why can't we throw the ball all of a sudden? And then obviously, as you say, you just have to sit back and say, actually, we're doing exactly what we've always done. And yeah, I was a bit like Mark as well. I was like, can we just get this game over with, please? Because we all know we're going to win it. We're just taking the long way round to win the damn thing. Can we just win it, please? But yeah, it was fun and exciting in the second half, and immensely frustrating in the first bit.
Yeah, I agree. And hey, one thing that you cannot say this week, Matt. How many penalties does the Seahawks have?
Yeah, I know. I've got the figure, and I've lost the damn thing, but it was 2. Wasn't it?
They had 2.
2 penalties for 20 yards.
But that's what happens when you put referees on that can't see properly or something. I don't know. there must have been more than that. I mean, it was. They've certainly learned a little bit of a lesson. Did Simon come on the field at all?
He was out.
No,
he was hurt.
Pretty sure he was still
Amazing, isn't it? All of a sudden, we only get 2 penalties.
Yikes.
Matt's going to be the fan club for Thorold Simon. He's going to be the president.
No, because what I'm doing, I'm just waiting for the moment that he busts out, intercepts, 4 balls, runs them all back for touchdowns, and makes me look like a complete chum, but I have to eat loads of crow. But you know what? If I had to eat crow after that sort of performance, I can't wait.
Oh, I know. I was going to say you will happily eat crow if he
I'm eating crow for that one.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. Will, your thoughts of the game? You were there.
Well, Moses, I'll tell you, it was kind of the game I was expecting because the Rams always play us tough.
Yes.
I mean, last year we would go 13-3, go to the Super Bowl, and have one of probably the ugliest win I've ever seen in my life in St. Louis. So I knew they were
Yes.
going to come in. I knew they were going to battle. You know, they've got some great defensive linemen, and they gave our O lineman fits. But, you know, I would have liked to have seen a better first half, too. I think all of us were. But, you know, it's like Matt, it's like everybody else. I never really had a feeling that we were going to lose that game. It was just more a question of, all right, can we get on with this already? So definitely some stuff to work on, but you know, kind of the game I expected, and I think, hey, we got home field, we got a week off, and I think that's gonna be huge.
Yeah, I do too. Now on to some of those tweets that I got from Mark during the game, and I'll start with you, Will. And here's the topic that got Mark very upset, and I don't know how the rest of you feel. Mark was quite bothered by the fact that once again, Marshawn Lynch was on the sidelines for a majority of the first half. And he said Lynch on the sideline. I said, yeah. And he said, well, why rest him this early? And I said, well, why not? And he said, it's only home field advantage. Might as well. And I said, to which I replied, I still like going. I said, relax. They're running the ball fine without him out there. They always do. And he says, didn't get it. Maybe we could bring in Lynch next series. That'd be nice.
That's funny.
Mark was a little anxious. Now, Will, what are your views on that? I mean, obviously won the game, but we were trailing. Do you feel like Lynch should have been out there, or did they do the right thing?
Well, I think Carroll said he was having trouble again, like he did at the start of the Cardinals game. So, I mean, if he was not feeling well, if he had some sort of medical thing, obviously they did right. You know, this whole thing between Lynch and the team, we're never going to know what's going on and everything about what's going on. And, you know, you can't trust the media to get anything right. So there's no point in looking up articles. But, you know, I just got to wonder, you know, if this game is really starting to take its toll on Lynch. And I hate to say it because, you know, if I could have a wish, it'd be to watch that guy play forever or close to it. But, you know, I don't like seeing him on the sidelines. I want to see him out there as much as possible. But, you know, I'm starting to wonder, you know, how much does he have left in the tank?
Does anybody think, and I'll just throw this out there, does anybody think that maybe they stumbled upon something in the Cardinal game? Because here's what happened. In my opinion, like I told Mark, we were running the ball effectively without Marshawn Lynch. I mean, Turbin and Michael were getting positive yardage. They were doing a very, very good job without him out there. And what I'm wondering is, and I'm just throwing this out there, that maybe they picked up on something that, hey, if we can rest him the first quarter or quarter and a half, we've got a healthy and fresh Lynch in the third and fourth quarter when we need to close the door on somebody. Does anybody think that maybe they are thinking that way, that maybe you rest him at the beginning?
I absolutely think that. I've been thinking that. I think that everything that you're hearing about, well, he had a stomach thing, or he had an equipment malfunction, so he couldn't get in there. His back was a little tight. He had to warm up. I think that's all BS, and they're hiding the fact that you're letting the other guys get in there, run around a little bit, and then Lynch is coming in to kind of be the closer like in baseball.
Exactly.
I think they're saving him for the playoffs is what they're doing, and they're taking a bunch of those reps off of his body so that he can go in there and...
Yes.
I just think they're not going out there and saying that. They're coming up with excuses for him to not be in there.
Yeah, because Matt, I mean, let's face it, Matt, they were behind because of the running game. The running game was effective without Marshawn in there.
No, I don't even think about. I have to say, I don't know, Mark. I can almost picture Mark like, well, we just put him on the train, just put him back on the damn plane. Then, if we're not going to use him, just put him back on the damn plane. I can almost feel that anger coming from that. I think it's great. But for me, I didn't even notice. I don't even look at it because for me, I always put in my mind he will run when he's ready to run, and you know, I can't imagine that if he couldn't play, he wouldn't. He's not sort of holding out in the middle of a game. He did that, you know, before training camp. He's not going to do that during a game. So he'll play when he's ready to play. He'll play when Carroll is ready for him to play. I absolutely agree with you. I think they have stumbled upon something. I think a lot of defensive coaches are preparing for the run game with Marshawn as its linchpin. And when that's not there, that actually might offset the defense a little bit as well, because we're prepared for Lynch. He's not here. What are we doing? And when you're facing people like Christian Michael, I mean, I think Christian Michael is an incredible running back. It's so fast. And as Turbin runs a similar style to Lynch, you know, that sort of power run sort of mentality, but Michael is fast. You know,
I would like Michael to adopt that power running mentality though, because if he can run through somebody like Marshawn does, once he gets a little bit of space, he's going to be gone. Nobody's going to catch him.
The only thing I would say, not about Lynch particularly, but sort of echoing Mark's frustrations. For me, it's whenever we have the return a kick. I don't feel we have any explosiveness when we want to return a kick with Brian Walters. I don't
Yes.
I don't feel there's any explosiveness there at all. And it's like, just do if everyone's wait for the fair catch because it's coming. It doesn't matter where he is, it's coming.
Yeah. Me and my friends I watch the games with and tailgate with and stuff all the time. We have an ongoing thing about the B Walt Experience. We're waiting to have the B Walt Experience, which would be a run back for a touchdown. And whenever it's been a joke, it's been an ongoing joke. And whenever Seahawks score a touchdown, right, we do a tradition for the away games, take a touchdown shot, just keep it going, keep everything cool. And everybody's like, well, you know what? If we get the B Walt Experience, that's got to be 3 shots, right? Because it never happens. Like they're probably just saving it for the playoffs. They're saving it for the playoffs.
I tell you what, Dustin. If he does it, I'm going to fly out to wherever the game is being hosted, walk out on the field, grab a yellow flag off a ref and throw it, and say, "I'm not being funny. That's a penalty," and walk off. Because
Matt, the referees don't need any help throwing flags at Seahawk games, okay?
No.
But I'll tell you one thing about Walters, though. He does the most important thing that a return man can do: not fumble.
Exactly.
Still,
Exactly.
I want to see a high third-day draft pick used on a pure return guy this year.
I can see Matt going out there throwing that flag and calling it on Harold Simon. For all
too.
Well, yeah, of course.
whilst he's sitting on the bench with an injury, you can imagine it, can't you? He moved.
Yeah.
Mark, are you waiting for the B Walt Experience?
Well, I was just going to say, guys, that one of my in-game texts that didn't go through was the fact that I wanted Lynch returning punts.
Wow.
Kidding.
Like he's not doing anything else. He's just sitting there. Return a punt. Do something.
Yeah, it's only home field advantage.
I'd rather have Lynch returning kickoffs because with a kickoff you can get up to a better head of steam. So by the time the kick coverage team gets down there, Lynch is already running at full speed, and everybody's going to be afraid to get in his way.
Man, without that time to think about it as they're running down there.
Yeah, really.
I got to tackle Marshawn Lynch.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's why I much prefer Doug Baldwin in the return game, as far as punt returns. But no, I wish they would just let him do it. Honestly,
I'm happy that Walters hasn't cost us anything, and he's had a couple of what I would call non-B Walt experiences, but he's had some pedestrian returns, pardon the pun. But I'm kind of with Will. As much as I'd like to see more out of the punt return game, I'm not seeing negative out of it either. So I'll take that.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating Earl Thomas going back and returning anything. All right? No
Richard Sherman either.
No Richard Sherman. No Earl Thomas. None of that.
No.
But can we
Paul
just
Richardson.
Can we just get, I don't know, 5 yards after a cat? Anything?
Yeah. Hopefully we will not this weekend, but next weekend.
Okay, Matt, I promise in the divisional playoff game, Walters will have a 5-yard return. How's that?
Ooh. Prognostication already.
What about Lockett doing it?
What about Lockett doing it? Oh.
I don't know that I've ever seen him try. Have we?
No.
I don't
It's not
remember
the
seeing
time
him
to
do it in
experiment either.
practice.
No, it's not. Let's not experiment during the playoffs. Hey, let's throw Lockett back here and see what happens. It's only
That's how
championship.
confident we are.
Again-
Screw
again,
you guys.
I can hear Mark again. Well, he's not doing anything else, is he? You might as well go out there and bloody catch the damn ball.
Seriously, though, guys, how ironic would it be if we're behind late in one of these playoff games coming up and it turns on Brian Walters' long punt return?
Oh, dude.
Seriously, how ironic would that be if he gets a long punt return or a touchdown?
We've been joking about that. We're like, you know what, the B Walt Experience, he's waiting for Super Bowl. It's going to be like a minute left. We're going to be losing. He's going to return one for a touchdown. It's time
It's going
expired.
to be amazing.
So he's going to do nothing until the Super Bowl? I thought that was the Percy Harvin experience.
Nice.
That'd be awesome, though. Scores a touchdown. We retire his jersey. Amazing.
With him in it before he can screw it
Yeah,
up.
Ring of Honor.
Oh God. Woo, I've lost
Calls
total
fair
control.
cash before he raises the flag the next year.
Oh dear Lord. Oh dear Lord. Oh,
Yes, my
all
child.
right. Yes, let's go to the 2-minute warning and do our predictions.
Holy sh! It's a 2-minute warning.
Whew! Wow, that was amazing. The B Walt Experience. I think T-shirts need to be made. Your predictions are on your screen. I did not put Matt's on there. He was not here, but he did send me his. We'll talk about that in a minute. The score was 20-6. Brad and Laura were here last week, and Brad said 30-3. Laura said 27-6. Mark said 31-13. Will 24-10. Me 34-13, and Matt also said 27-6. I think Laura and Matt got that. 20-6 was the score. That's pretty good by both of you. Congratulations to Matt.
Yes.
I thought you were going to play Sheena Easton.
Oh, we'll do that. See, she's still here. Don't worry. Sheena's still with me. The prognostications are on your board, on the screen. Brad said 2 interceptions, and there were. That's pretty good. Laura said a pick 6 by defense, and there was. Mark said 12 tackles for Wagner, and he got 5. Will said touchdowns to Richardson and Norwood. That didn't happen. And I said Richardson would have over 80 yards, and he had 60. So Brad and Laura both nailed that. And meanwhile, Matt had said 2 ejections for the game, and that did not happen. So we'll move on from there. And we're going to play a little Sheena, just because I feel like it. Last but not least, our game balls are on the board. Brad said Thomas. Laura said Wilson. Mark said Wagner. Will said Lynch. Moses said Richardson. And Matt said Averill. Will, who do you give a game ball to?
Brian Walters.
Sorry.
Oh, of course.
Who'd you say? I'm sorry, Sheena had my attention.
That's okay. How about, well, it's kind of hard, but how about Jordan Hill?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. Jordan Hill's getting our game ball. Anybody else have anybody other than Jordan Hill that should get the game ball last week? What about
And Earl
Bruce
Thomas
Irvin?
for that karate chop alone.
Earl Thomas.
That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, I think so. Earl Thomas for sure. And you know, Bruce Irvin continues to just get better. In my opinion, get better and better at linebacker.
Yep.
So you gotta love that.
Yeah.
A lot of positives from this game. Now, this is where we usually go to halftime, but before we do, I have something to play you from the 12th Man Fan Jam of the past. Now, as a Packer edition, 12th Man Fan Jam Packers edition, you can find on Seahawk Positivity. If you go to the hour and 9-minute mark, we made predictions for the season.
Oh, dear.
And yes, and some of them have not come through yet. Well, I say yet because they're still out there. Now, Dustin said Richardson would get Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think that that's not going to happen.
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm.
It's not
Will,
true. Sometimes
Will
you
said
know.
that Russell Wilson will get NFL MVP. I don't think that's going to happen.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, well.
Now, Matt did say no failed drug test. So congratulations, Matt.
Yes.
But you also said
well,
5
now you just
shutouts,
jinxed
so that
us.
didn't happen.
Farrell Simon.
Mark is still out there with the Seahawks repeated Super Bowl champions. However, this is what I said on the show way back at the beginning, August 30th. But the whole offense is going to be hugely improved because of him. And that's why I'm about to say this, and this will make your mind completely blow. If as great as this defense is, and it's probably safe to say, at the worst, it's a top 10 defense, probably top 5. We're going to have a top 10 offense this year. That's what I said, top 10 offense. We were 9th overall.
Woohoo!
Nice.
So,
Yay!
that's great, and I'm glad Will's celebrating because Will said something later in the show about our predictions. If you go just a little further, this is what Will said. If any of these predictions came true, now mind you, mine already has. Here's what Will said. If that happens, if any of these happen, it's going to be a crazy year to be a Seahawk fan again.
If any of that happens, I'm going to Disneyland.
So, Will said he was going to Disneyland. If any of these happen. Will, it happened, buddy. Pack your bags. You're going to Disneyland.
Right after he
It's a
starts his
small
Kickstarter
world
fund, yeah.
after all. It's a small world after all.
And you know who's going to join you at Disneyland? Sheena, baby. What else is she doing?
I'll take it.
What else has she got going on?
A fun starter for a trip to Disneyland, probably.
I
She'll take her free.
I think she actually does play the food court area of Disneyland now. So.
Or like Tiffany and yeah.
Oh my God. Woo.
Debbie Gibson.
Yeah.
Debbie's the fry cook, but we'll move on.
Holy sh! It's halftime!
That is the end of the second quarter. Will, congratulations on going to Disneyland. Of course, we want to see pictures.
Why, thank you.
Yes, we want to see pictures of that when it happens. We're going to take a brief station identification. We'll be right back with halftime you do not want to miss. The nominees for our second annual 12th Man Fan Jam Awards Show are the Fan Jammies. That is coming up at halftime. Get ready for that. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, this is Matt, all the way from merry old England, and you're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam.
Yes! Welcome to halftime. This is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, and it is time for us to give your nominations to the second annual 12th Man Fan Jam Award Show, or the Fan Jammies. Yes, the kids dig it, you're going to dig it, and we'll talk about how this works. Every year at the end of the season, was the second year we've done this, so it's now becoming every year. Every year at the end of the season, we look over the Seahawks season, and we will come up with 4 nominations for 4 different departments. We have Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Score of the Year, and Game of the Year. And what we will do is we will give you the nominations, and then you can vote on them. Now, how do you vote, you wonder? Well, there's many ways you can vote. You can vote by going to this thread on wherever you're finding this video, either on the internet or on Facebook or wherever you're finding it. You can post a comment there. You can also email us at 12thmanfanjam@gmail.com. Or you can also send it to Twitter at our Twitter handle, which is at Seahawk Positivity. At Seahawk Positivity. If you send it there, we will make sure that we will get your nominations. Now, these nominations will go on throughout the course of the playoffs. And following the Super Bowl, we will have our second annual 12th Man Fan Jam Awards Show for you to listen to. So, here are our nominations. We're going to start with Offensive Player of the Year. The Offensive Player of the Year nominations are the following: Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, Marshawn Lynch, and Russell Wilson. Will, who would you consider out of that group getting Offensive Player of the Year?
Well, as good as Wilson has been playing all year, I would have to give it, I think, to Marshawn Lynch, because I think he is having the best year of his career.
Well done. Mark, who would you vote for?
I agree with Will. Lynch, I mean, he delivered beyond my imagination. He's just been as inspiring and awesome as he was last year. I would give the team MVP to Wilson, but Lynch definitely offensive MVP.
Dustin?
It's got to be Marshawn. 17 total touchdowns scored this year. The dude's been a monster, even though he's not played as much as Mark would like.
Matt?
I would give it Percy Harvin, because he was especially offensive this year.
Nice.
You give it to Lynch. I mean, as I think Will just said, a game season, just a completely incredible season so far.
Yeah. And I think I'll join you all. So, there's 5 votes already for Marshawn Lynch, but if you feel like out there, Russell Wilson, Jermaine Kearse, Doug Baldwin, please don't hesitate to vote. Vote early, vote often, vote throughout the playoff season all the way through the Super Bowl. We will close the polls on Super Bowl Sunday. So vote as often as you want. Let us know your thoughts. And right now, it looks like Lynch is in the lead. So we will move on to Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year is between four. This is going to be a little bit more difficult, I think. Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, Bobby Wagner, Dustin.
Well, of the four, I think I'd have to go Wagner, even though he missed a lot of the games. But I was a little disappointed Michael Bennett wasn't in the grouping, to be honest with you, because I felt like he stepped up, did a good job when Mebane left. But it was obvious how important Wagner is to this defense by seeing what happened when he wasn't there. And then when he came back and he stepped up, the defense came back to what it was before, and probably even better in a lot of cases. Because there hasn't been a 6-game stretch like this in NFL history where the defense only allows the amount of points they've allowed. So that dude, he's the spark plug or the heart of the engine. I don't know what you want to call it, but he's the guy that makes that defense flow. Apparently, I wouldn't have guessed that last year, but it was painfully obvious this year that that's exactly what he does for this team.
Yeah, I agree. Will, who you got?
Well, Wagner is certainly deserving for all the reasons that Dustin gives, and he would definitely be a worthy choice. But, there's another player who, while didn't miss as much time, was definitely gimped up for a good part of the year. And his return to health has also played a role in Seattle's defensive resurgence. And he just sets a tone out there every game. And I would give it to Cam Chancellor.
Very nice. Very nice. Matt?
Absolutely, for all the reasons that everyone's just given, you can see why both of those players could get the award. Defense is a difficult one for this team because when you have the best defense in the league, it's difficult to sort of split hairs between them. I think I would. I think Thomas is in there. I assume you said Thomas at the beginning, didn't you? I think Thomas can make a good claim as well for the sheer leadership of keeping that secondary, grounded and together. The Legion of Boom, and if anything for that chop block last week, which for me was just astonishing and piece of timing that I've ever seen ever. The composure to be able to make that play, and I was at the television screen, at the computer screen, screaming that it was a touchback. And incredible. So I think even Thomas can make a play on this as well.
I think that honestly, if we were to have a team MVP for this year, I would almost go Earl Thomas because of what you just said about the defense. And the leadership has been phenomenal. And the way he gets Marshawn going and just the intensity he's been showing, especially since the Arizona game when they had that meeting, being out there for everybody, man, it's just, he's running down there and tackling Marshawn in the end zone. And they had that one game where Marshawn comes off the field and Earl's just glaring at him, doesn't say a word. That's just one of those things where it's just intense and they know this is right. This is what we got to do. That dude has been a leader this year.
Yes,
Matt's just disappointed that Thurl Simon wasn't an option.
Yes, I'm sure he was.
But the thing is exactly what Dustin said. I missed to say it. But the fact is that meeting is apparently the crux when everything just started to happen. Yeah. And that meeting was apparently headed by Thomas. That was what was reported, and it was backed up by coaches. So I can only say in my case, that Earl Thomas has brought the team back from the Percy Harvin nightmare, the Russell Wilson's not black enough nightmare, all the other nonsense that we had, and that's why I would say that's why he gets my vote.
Good, Mark, who you got?
Boy, this one is a lot tougher. I gotta go with Wagner. I know he missed some time, but boy, and Cam for the same reasons since he's returned, we're just on fire. But I got to go with Wagner, and I'm glad that they saw fit to put him, name him as an All-Pro this year, because now they're kind of making up for their mistake a year ago, on a national level. But I got to go with Wagner, I think. But you can't really go wrong with any of the people mentioned.
No, you really can't. And it's funny because you all give great reasons for the three you voted for, and I think all four certainly deserve it. This is a very, very difficult choice. But no one has mentioned that Richard Sherman is practically busting records on his side of the ball. But and it's funny because we've got so many deserved people on defense, and why isn't Bennett on this list? Why wasn't Mebane or Jordan Hill even on this list?
But Moses, the reason none of us picked Sherman was the same reason that Aaron Rodgers didn't throw to him. We just forgot about him to be
Yeah, we're avoiding him. We didn't want him to intercept.
We're avoiding him, man.
So.
Well, I'm going to go with Cam Chancellor because I feel like he has always been the bridesmaid. I think the bridesmaid in the MVP voting for the Super Bowl. I think he's been the bridesmaid on this team as far as, I don't want to say overlooked, but just always like the second guy mentioned. And so I'm going to give Cam my vote just for that, if nothing more.
You just called Cam Chancellor a bridesmaid.
Well, I mean, he's always
Nice
second in
knowing
line.
you, Moses.
He's the best man. He's the best man.
He was in. There's like is Kristen Wiig, Cam Chancellor.
Oh Lord.
He's
the best man. He's always the best man. He's never the groom. So I'm gonna give him my vote for that. And we'll you're right. I should have said that. We'll move on to score of the year. Score of the year. There are 4. Marshawn Lynch's dive in the end zone to beat the Broncos in overtime. Russell Wilson's amazing touchdown against the Cardinals. Marshawn Lynch had a run, I think, against the Cardinals. Can we remember that maybe a little bit? And then, of course, Bruce Irvin's pick 6. Dustin, who would you vote for the touchdown of the year?
Marshawn's run.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm pro Marshawn with these things, but yeah, definitely that run. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Another one of those, I thought he stepped out of bounds. I thought for sure he stepped out of bounds. And then he kept going, kept rumbling, and then earned that $11,000 fine, and it was all worth it.
Well said, Will. Who you got?
Well, Marshawn's run is the obvious choice, but I got to give it to Wilson's run in that same game, just because I love watching our little 5'10" and 5/8 inch quarterback stiff arming Alex Okafor.
Yes.
To get to the outside, and then juking Antonio Cromartie out of his jock strap and getting in untouched from that point.
That was amazing.
It was the capstone of a stellar game for Wilson, and I'm just got to give him for that one.
What I love the most about his run was that Chris Collinsworth was showering all this praise on him, and then he did it like, wow. Chris Collinsworth was saying how great Russell Wilson is. Here he is scoring right in front of him. I mean, it was around cue. I mean, you couldn't ask any better.
What I thought was great about that is it so reminded me of like a Jedi move, because it looks like Russell Wilson just used the Force on that stiff arm.
Yeah, he just held his hand out.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
Someone should take a Photoshop of Wilson sticking his arm out, and then Jameis Winston falling backwards with that phantom fumble in Florida State. That would be awesome. Mark, who do you vote for touchdown of the year?
Well, even though I felt it should have happened in the first quarter, I'm going to go with the Beastquake 2.0 run.
Never enough for you, is it, Mark?
Well, I'm just
satisfied.
I'm just running with the Villain of the Year award for our crew. So.
Oh no! Because you gave us no. We're not going to do that.
I know. That's all good.
Yeah. You gave us so much.
We all have to play our roles. All have to play our roles.
He gave us the gift of Sheena Easton.
He gave us Sheena Easton. What more could you ask?
Well, without that windblown look, she's nothing. But
oh man, though, with the windblow look, I mean, seriously. All right, Matt, who you got?
I just give an honourable mentions, I think, to start with before anything. I mean, I think the 80-yard Wilson to Wilson touchdown. During the Cardinals game, tight ends, Halfort's touchdown, tight ends. I mean, I think considering the tight ends haven't had their number one starter at all, I think they've played their socks off, and yes. Credit to them. I think, though, for all the reasons that have already been said, I think Beastquake 2 has to be the defining touchdown of the year. I think it's the one certainly that I will remember the most. So I would give it to Marshawn.
Well done.
That Cooper Helfrich touchdown, speaking of the tight ends, that Cooper Helfrich touchdown where he dove and hit the pylon, that was pretty nice, too. I forgot about that until Matt just started talking about that.
And I hate to say it because it was in a loss, but that touchdown he caught, was it him against the Rams that caught that amazing? Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah. Sheena's back, baby. We have not forgotten Sheena Easton. All right. And finally,
that's the first time Sheena Easton has ever sung at an award ceremony.
There it is. Yeah. Well, we're not the awards. This is nomination.
She's going to be charging. Yeah. She's going to be charging.
She will be. Mm-hmm. Game of the year. Matt, we'll start with you. Here are your nominations. Packers, 49ers on Thanksgiving, at Arizona, and home against the Rams. What is your game of the year?
For me, it has to be Thanksgiving, but for every reason that occurred after the game,
Yes.
what occurred before during
Yes.
it. Eating turkey off the halfway line at the brand new Santa Clara, what do they call it? Stadium.
Field of Jeans.
Their field of dreams, absolutely.
Nice.
Sitting there watching Richard Sherman parade a turkey around on his head, across their field and across their logo was poetry.
Yes.
So that for me is my game.
Yes, I agree with that.
I don't remember any of the scores during the game. I don't know who played. I don't even know whether Marshawn ran. Did he run in that game, Mark? I can't remember. It's all blacked out just for that turkey moment.
He
I
set
was
that one
also
out with
hungry.
a frayed shoestring. He couldn't play. He was a scratch.
Mark, who is your game of the year? Packers, at 49ers, Cardinals, or Rams?
Well, let's see. My Sugar Walls game of the year.
Oh, Lord.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
Wow.
Oh, I got a million of them.
She only had a
warning.
couple, so you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I just boy, I think I had a girlfriend that looked like her way back when. Jeez.
Oh, dude. Congrats.
Yeah, then I dumped her for Firuza Balk, so clearly I was in the disease at the time. Let's see here. You know what? I would go with SF as well, just because it's a short week. We're the traveling team. I think my little stats lookup was, I think to that point, road teams were 4-8 on Thursday Night Football. Going into that game, and we hadn't won there since 2008, and that really. I mean, that really, Harbaugh was gone, period, at the end of the year. But, there's nothing like ending Thanksgiving with a friendly tweet from your owner apologizing for the game. I mean, that's just epic. So,
I agree. Here's a little Sugar Walls for you. It's a Sheena Easton night on the 12th Man Fan Jam. All right, little Sugar Walls for you there. Oh, dear Lord. Will, game of the year, Packers, 49ers, Cardinals, Rams.
First, I need to give an honorable mention to the Eagles game, where we went against one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL and held them to 139 yards and only 45 plays.
I agree.
So that one deserves some mention. San Francisco Thanksgiving game, that's a worthy choice. I'm going to go with the Sunday night game at Arizona, because that's a place where we've traditionally had trouble winning. The division was on the line, and we didn't just go in there and get the win. We went in there and absolutely stomped them. So a little serving notice that the NFC West still belongs to Seattle. I got to give it to that game.
Well done. Dustin, who you got? Packers, 49ers, Cardinals, Rams.
No, I'm absolutely on same page as Will there. The sheer magnitude of what that game meant and what it allowed us to accomplish after that. I mean, we did serve notice in that game. We let everybody know that Seahawks are back. We're doing our thing. We're somebody you have to deal with. And Arizona had to deal with it, and they lost the division lead in that game. And then we went on after that. It helped kind of catapult us to go on after that and take the entire NFC. So it has to be that game. It was the catalyst for everything that we're enjoying right now.
Yeah. All right, I agree. I'm going to go with the 49er game. Something about watching them eat turkey at the end of that game on Thanksgiving. National audience, big game. We knew, we were in the middle of that Cardinals 49er set where we thought if we could just split this, we'll be in good shape. And obviously the Cardinal game came out well, and then the 49er game, we just rolled right over them. Just amazing. That's our nominations. Now, once again, if you want to vote for these, we want you to vote for these, please. There are a couple ways to do it. You can comment at the video. You can comment on Twitter at Seahawk Positivity. That's our Twitter handle. You can also email us, 12manfanjam@gmail.com. Vote early, vote often. Polls will close on Super Bowl Sunday, and then following the Super Bowl in the offseason, probably right after that, we'll have our special little award show. So we're going to take a break here. Before we do, a little bit more Sheena Easton for you. One of the most obnoxious songs ever made. It's Sheena Easton night here in the 12-Man Fan Jam. So we're going to take a quick station identification, sign some royalty checks, and we'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
What does this song mean? My whole life, I don't know what this song means. I mean, should old acquaintance be forgot? Does that mean that we should forget old acquaintances? It doesn't mean that if we happen to forget them, we should remember them, which is not possible because we already forgot them.
Well, maybe it just means that we should remember that we forgot them or something.
It's the third quarter, bitches.
Yes, welcome back to the third quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. We have just gone through our special second annual 12th Man Fan Jam award show nominations at halftime. We encourage you all to vote early, vote often for those, please. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the games coming up. It is a bye week for your Seahawks, for your NFC Western Division champion Seattle Seahawks. But we're going to go ahead and talk about the games that are going to play into next week's show and next week's game for Seattle, and that is the Arizona-Carolina game and the Detroit Lions-Dallas Cowboy game. So we're going to start with the Arizona-Carolina game. Mark, what do you think is a key for this game between Arizona and Carolina on Saturday?
You know, I just, to me, I mean, the most interesting thing about this game is whether or not the Panthers are going to cover a 6 or 7 point spread. To me, it's, I guess it's really kind of, it boils down mainly to Cam Newton versus the Arizona defense. This is a very tough game for the Cardinals. I mean, Ryan Lindley starting his first playoff game. He hasn't played much in his career anyway. Now he's on the road in Carolina. Carolina is actually playing very well right now. I think they've won 4 in a row. And, well, they're playing well for a team from the NFC South anyway. So I think it's Cam Newton versus the Cardinal defense is really the key.
Yeah, I do too. Matt, what do you think is the key to this game for the Cardinals or for the Panthers?
For the Panthers, it comes down to entirely Cam Newton and how he's going to play. It is the most, for me, it's the most interesting of the games. I'm not particularly fussed about the Detroit Lions game really at all. I'm not which one of those play, it doesn't bother me. But this one intrigues me because the fall for Arizona. From, obviously we beat them in the division. They were ahead by 3 games. We've come back. They've had nothing but a run, if you like, of really, really crappy luck and very tough schedule. Really crappy luck. Really bad play design sometimes as well. I just hope that for this game they actually managed to put up a real fight, because I think that the Panthers are going to go in here thinking that they've already wrapped it up. But I hope that the defense for the Cardinals comes up and steps up, because I'm going to root for the West in this game. I'm going to root for the Cardinals.
Ah, very nice. Will, I believe Tony Dungy said on camera that the Carolina Panthers had the best chance in the NFC to beat the Seahawks in Seattle. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think we're going to find out. But as far as the keys to Carolina in this game, I think if they score 17 points, they're going to win. They've got a pretty good defense, and Cam Newton's been playing well. I don't think they can come up to Seattle and win, but taking on a reeling Cardinals team at home, yeah, I think so. They just have to score. I don't think Arizona has anything left on offense. I don't think they can put up much of a fight points-wise, so Carolina just needs to score some points.
I agree. Dustin, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think the key to this game is Carson Palmer's injury, because if he was in there, they'd have a chance. Without him in there, their quarterback play does not lend them the opportunity to win this game. It's just not going to happen. Carolina, I think, is going to roll them.
Wow. All right. Let's go to the next game, Detroit and Dallas. Mark, what do you think's a key between the Lions and the Cowboys?
This one, it kills me to say it, but for this game anyway, I think Dallas, they're a very good team. It's really strange to see them just kind of deliver all year. They've had some solid wins. The Lions, this is a case where I just don't trust Matthew Stafford. I don't trust him. I don't trust the Lions, period. We already know how dirty they are, but I don't trust that team. And the funny thing, the irony of this game is that Detroit actually has a better chance of beating them in Dallas than they do at home because the Cowboys are undefeated on the road. So it's just that's the bizarre stat of this game. But there's too much everything. Dallas just has the advantage at pretty much, at every position. I guess maybe Detroit's defense they're highly ranked, but they're not clutch. And it's funny to say clutch and Cowboys, but I think for this game anyway, this week, Dallas will come through. So I guess it's Romo again. I look at Romo or actually how well Murray. Maybe the bigger thing is Murray running against the Detroit defense, which sets up everything else for Dallas.
Very good, Matt. What are your thoughts on the Lions-Cowboys matchup?
Well, if ever there was a moment when Tony Romo has a complete mental collapse, a playoff game is likely to be when it happens, or a Super Bowl.
Like he'd drop a catch to place the ball down for a kick or something. He'd do something like that. Could
do something like a fumble kick, something like that.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I've got a feeling, gentlemen. I've got a feeling. I think Dallas lose this, and I think Dallas lose it because Romo throws probably about 3 interceptions. Of which 2 of them has run back. I think he's going to have an absolute. There's a saying that they've got on old Skip Bayless and Stephen A, which is that he's an accident waiting to happen. Blah, blah, blah. Actually, do you know what? Yeah, he is for this game. I think. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if the Lions win this, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if Romo's sort of historic, meteoric, amazing season ends in a complete kerfuffle.
A kerfuffle. We'll have a kerfuffle sighting.
He's gonna get mollywopped.
Go get mollywopped. Will, do you see a kerfuffle in this game between the Lions and the Cowboys?
Well, it's not going to come down to Tony Romo, I don't think. People have been talking about how he's having potentially MVP type season, but I don't think it's a coincidence. It's Dallas finally broke out of the whole 8-8 rut the year they finally got a decent running game going. And this game is going to come down to DeMarco Murray. If the Lions can slow down Murray, I think they can contain Romo, and I think Detroit's offense can get some shots on the Dallas defense. If Murray just runs wild and the Lions can't do anything about him, it's not even going to be close.
All right. Dustin, your thoughts on this game between the Cowboys and the Lions?
Well, my first thought was that last thing that Will said about running wild. I heard all that in a Hulk Hogan voice. I'm sorry.
Run wild.
What are you going to do, brother? When
Brother!
It's wild on you, brother. No. But I absolutely agree with him, though. I think that it's going to come down to the front seven of the Detroit Lions versus DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray's been their workhorse. He's been their stud. I feel like if they're able to stop him and shut him down, the heart of that Dallas team is just going to deflate. And they're not going to be able to compensate for that. So I think that's where the matchup is. If Murray's able to run through it and do his thing, Detroit's going to lose. If Detroit is able to stop him, they're going to win. And I'm hoping they stop him. I really want Detroit in Seattle.
Well, let's see what happens. This is the end of the third quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
And we will come back after a quick station identification. We'll see what kind of score predictions the 12th Man Posse has for these games this weekend. And we'll see all of this after this brief message.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam. 49er fans need not apply.
And now it's time for the fourth quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to lead us through the final quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you again, Magic Voice. This is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity. Welcome to the fourth and final quarter of a very special playoff bye week edition of your 12th Man Fan Jam. We had our nominations at halftime for our Fan Jammies. We've told you how to vote early, vote often for those. We discussed the playoff games that are happening this weekend in the NFC, none of them involving our NFC Western Division champion Seattle Seahawks, because they are a number one seed and they will play whoever comes out of this week, one of the teams that comes out of this week. And we're going to start this fourth quarter. We're going to have our predictions. No prognostications, no game balls, just game predictions. We're just doing score predictions for this week because why not? It's the bye week. It's something to do. Mark, Arizona and Carolina, what's your score in that game?
Well, Moses, for your eyes only, I am boy, that's just a bad one-liner. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Panthers 20 and the Arizona Cardinals 13.
Oh God, y'all have just taken me out of my game. All right, Arizona loses 20-13. Okay, Matt, what you got?
I've got Cardinals 16, Panthers 14.
16-14 Panthers?
16-14 Cardinals.
Oh, 16-14 Cardinals. Sheena Easton once again has got me. That's for your eyes only in the background, by the way. Dustin!
Yeah.
What's your score for the Cardinal-Arizona game?
17-14 Carolina.
17-14 Carolina. Will, what's your score?
Well, I'm glad we're not picking the Cactus Bowl because at the time of we're recording this, it's 24-0 Oklahoma State at halftime, so it's kind of annoying.
Well, for those of you who are UW fans, here's some Sheena Easton to cheer you up.
Is that going to do it?
Here comes the big moment.
Okay, that's enough of that.
All right, sorry.
There's the money shot.
Let's
in the mouth. Wait, what?
Let's go. Let's pick the game. 17-6 Carolina.
She's got you all flustered, all of you.
Well, not Sheena Easton. I'm trying to stare into Kate Upton's eyes for 45 seconds.
Oh, there it is.
I threw the link up in our chat box for those of you interested.
Yes, please do. Apparently, there's a YouTube video you can stare at Kate Upton's eyes for 45 seconds, and
you can try.
You can try.
There's another YouTube video of trying to stare into Khloe Kardashian's face without yakking after 45 seconds.
I've seen that video. I lost. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. My score for those who are carrying, I'm going Carolina 24, and I'm going Arizona 14. I just don't think that they have any offense to go with this, and I think Carolina's got a really pretty decent defense, and they're hot right now, 4 in a row, I believe. So I think at home they win. I think they'll stumble on the road either at our place or wherever they would go, which would be our place, I guess, if they won. But I see them stumbling on the next week game. But this week, I see them beating Arizona 24-14. All right, Dustin. Detroit and Dallas. Who you got? Hey, that's okay. Take your time because Sheena Easton will keep us happy.
And they're playing one of those Kate Upton Game of War commercials on ESPN, so
no
I'm
doubt.
busy too.
Yeah,
those are good
fun.
too.
Or watch her play Flip Cup with Jimmy Fallon. That's fun too.
Yes.
Anything where she's involved is kind of fun, actually.
That's not bad. Yes, we like Kate Upton.
Yeah, it's enjoyed. Yeah. We should book her next week. It'd be fun.
Well, I'll ask her.
All right. Anyways, I'm gonna say I'm just hoping. I don't necessarily think this is what's gonna happen, but I really, really want Detroit to put up some points on Dallas and win. I think Detroit's going to shut down the running game. It's going to force Romo to throw. And I think because of all the throwing and Des Bryant that they're going to put up some points. So I'm going to say it's going to end up being 35-31 Detroit.
Woo!
Because I think Golden Tate, even though he's kind of a pariah around here, the dude steps up in big games. This is a big game, and he's going to have one. And he's going to help Detroit win.
Wow. All right. Will, what do you got for that game, Detroit and Dallas?
Well, I actually don't think Detroit's going to stop DeMarco Murray, so I'm going to go 28-17 Dallas over Detroit. And as a bonus prognostication, I say that Golden Tate draws a 15-yard penalty at some point.
Ooh.
because Cowboys are going to be hitting them, and they're going to get penalized for it.
Somebody's going to have his donut.
Yep.
Be the problem there. Matt, Detroit and Dallas score.
As I said before this, I think this is the opportunity for Romo to show us all what a exceptional quarterback he is at throwing games. So I'm going to say that this is going to be Dallas 21, Lions 27.
Oh, very nice. Mark, Detroit and Dallas.
Well, let's see here. As much as it would be just hysterical to see 105,000 Jerry Jones followers weeping.
Jerry Jones-aholics.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I can picture Jerry Jones' face melting like the Nazi from Indiana Jones.
Awesome scene.
I knew exactly where you're going with that too.
For this week they're safe, and I'm going to call this 31-20 Cowboys. I just can't see Detroit coming through in this game. So if it works out otherwise, it'll be hysterical. But that's my calls. 31-20 Dallas.
Yeah, I'm kind of going with that kind of way of thinking too. I think we're going to wait and let Dallas win a playoff game or two, and nothing better for me than to see Dallas come into Seattle and just shut them down completely. But that will happen in due time, my friends. First things first, they have to take care of business to get here, and I'm going to say that they do that this weekend. I'm going Dallas 31, and I'm going Detroit 24. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think that it's going to be a case of Stafford being a bigger mistake than Romo, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. Wow. Holy moly, what a show. It looks like it's time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12th Man Fan Jam, unfortunately, to another sad close. We are so glad you decided to waste some time with us, and it was, as usual, a show that raised the bar here at the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. We certainly hope you laughed a little, and maybe, just maybe, you learned a little something along the way. And what did we learn in this show? Well, we learned that Marshawn is a linchpin. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, we learned that Dustin is waiting for the B Walt Experience.
Every day of my life, boy. Every day of my life.
We all like Kate Upton, and we learned that there's a possible kerfuffle sighting in the Dallas game this weekend. And finally, we learned that Sheena Easton has amazing eyes. So, on behalf of Dustin, Statsman Mark, our news hound, Shadowhawk Will, and my partner in crime, Matt from merry old England, this is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, saying enjoy the bye week, and go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Yeah.